booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you, Adam, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me in
My
your
pleasure.
computer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to my home in the box.
Right.
There is, when I think about 65 and I think about purpose and how purpose can bind people and how purpose changes people, depending on what the scenario is. For Mills, Mills has to work with Koa to get to the other side of what they need to get to. So how do you think Koa affects Mills in a way that allows him to be open to new purpose and shed other fears that he may have had prior to their accident and getting to where they need to go?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's what to me was exciting about the movie is that you have two people who could not be more of come from a different environment, who don't speak the same language, have no other way of communicating, and everything that she does without saying anything reminds him of his past, this thing that he's lost. And for the main thrust of the movie, he's trying to deny that. He's trying to deny him an emotional connection because he's already gone through this thing where he can't lose another one, in a sense. And you don't really. So in a way, they kind of become found family over this common thing of grief. He's been isolated on a ship, processing grief alone in a vacuum, basically, and she's processing grief in real time. And obviously, they're battling externally what's going on, both of them internally. Which for me, when I got the script, it was kind of the first kind of thrust of COVID. So all the metaphors kind of made sense that everyone was battling the same thing at the exact same time, and kind of had found family and lost people because of this kind of thing that was totally foreign, and hopefully in the last moments of the movie you kind of find that uh, uh, she wears him down, not because of anything that she says, just by being human, and being a, a constant reminder of his daughter, by them kind of needing each other, so they kind of do save each other by the end.
I looked at all the things that are happening around them, especially with dinosaurs and things like that. There are these big, huge creatures that are real creatures. What do you think is humans' fascination, just personally? What do you think is our fascination as people, as humanity, with dinosaurs? There's never an instance where that's not an entertaining element, and it adds that extra fear to 65 as they're trying to get where they need to go.
Yeah, I don't, it's so prehistoric. It's so like, ingrained, I don't know, the idea that these giant lizards, walked around. I have to say, like, I can probably intellectualize it, but there was something really crazy about, we had this one scene we're shooting in New Orleans, and they had these guys dressed up as a dinosaur, and in the distance, in the trees, it was doing something like eating a bush, and I don't think it wound up making it in the movie, but I can't tell you how fucking terrifying that was. Even intellectually, like, I know the mechanics. There's a film set, there's a crew, and I know the guys that are behind, under the suit, and there was something just really terrifying that there was these adult sized lizards that are that we're not on the top of the pecking order. Maybe that's it, is that we're so used to being on the top of the food chain that we can't imagine a scenario where we have to be so on guard and or eaten.
I feel you. Big dogs scare me, so I'm not fooling with dinosaurs. I feel that.
Right.
Thank you, Adam, for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great premiere. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariana, for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
My pleasure. There's something about fear that unites people, and fear manifests itself in many different, like fear of a spider is not fear of a car accident, different levels of fear. How would you describe Koa's fear and why that fear unites her with Mills and their ability to travel through this time they have together?
Yeah, for sure. Koa is an incredibly complex girl. We see when we first meet her, she's incredibly scared, and she's scared of where she is, and she's scared of Mills, and she doesn't know where her family is, and she's incredibly nervous. We see a huge evolution of her personality and her fear level till the end of the movie. We see her grow up very quickly, and she realizes that she has no one else but Mills, and she has to rely on him, and he has to rely on her. And there's that special bond where, like, when you lose so much and so many people, you just rely on who you have and you make it work. And that's their big bonding moment for sure. It was really important for me to show Koa grow as a person. You know, obviously Mills protects her so much, but I wanted to have her protect Mills, and she's extremely capable of doing a lot of things and protecting herself. And I think that was really important to show that a young girl almost dying can save herself for sure. Um, but she was very fun to play and to grow with.
Mhm. There, fear is, I don't know if fear is the same for young people now. I think young people like yourself have access to lots of different information, so maybe fear factor is different. How do you, being an actress can be fearful? You're exposing yourself to so many people and tapping into emotions. So how do you personally handle fear? Like, do you have the same fear reflex you might have had when you were really little?
Yeah, for sure. I think growing up as an actress, you go through a lot of nervousness because everyone is looking at you and you're growing up and everyone's eyes are on you. So I think my perspective of fear has definitely changed when I was younger, just because growing up, you're more conscious about things and what you say and how you look and all of that stuff. But with social media nowadays, everything is there and everything there is there permanently. So that's definitely something that is scary growing up for sure. Um, but obviously, I think especially my generation, we vocalize what we think and what we feel so frequently, and that's what we're used to. We're used to voicing our opinions, and we're used to, just being ourselves almost. And because of social media, yes, everything is there, but we can also use it as a platform to express how we feel. So there's definitely that line of like, yes, you're scared, but if you do it right, you can change a lot of people's perspective and minds and opinions and views on yourself and other things. So you just have to do it right, and you have to do it with people around you. Luckily, I have such a great team that I've had for years, and obviously my parents and my brother, they keep me out of trouble, which is good because I'm a curious, independent independent girl that likes to, do things I probably shouldn't. So they definitely keep me in line for sure.
I love that. Well, I thank you for your time. You are marvelous and so talented, and I appreciate your time talking to me today. Thank you
Thank you
again.
so much. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. My pleasure. When I watched the film and I thought about the inner of the past and the future, and how there's a fun area to sort of intersect the two, although they're worlds apart. Scott, beginning with you, where do you think the intersection occurs between those two periods? Where do they end and where they begin, and how does that help further the story of 65?
I mean, one of the things that Brian and I thought about when writing this story is the whole idea of rebirth, and that being kind of the connection point. And by that I mean, the dinosaurs roamed the earth for hundreds of millions of years, and then were destroyed, and there was a rebirth yet of another civilization. And so I think much of what is happening in the character story with Mills and Koa, they're both undergoing different types of loss, of different types of grief. And in life, like, you can either see a dead end and choose to stop, or you can forge a new path ahead and find a way to rebirth. And so I think concurrently we were thinking about both those threads in terms of how it kind of connects when all is said and done.
Mhm. Brian, for you, with fear is a huge factor in this journey they're undergoing, and fear can manifest itself in so many different ways. Like fear of a spider is not fear of being in a world that might be coming to an end. Two different things. So with that fear factor between Koa and Mills, who probably undergoes the biggest journey of losing fear, shedding fear, repurposing it for the needs of survival.
Well, you're talking to two writers who are seemingly terrified of everything. So it's easy for us to go to these places in writing fear and anxiety, because we kind of just put our gut onto the page. I think for us, Mills is a character that's lost a lot and feels a lot of guilt and grief, and his journey through the movie is one of rebirth. And for us, I think Koa is able to kind of show him and inspire him to recover from some of the things that he's gone through. And really they help each other. And it's a kind of a movie about family and found family and recovery. So yeah, and against a kind of pulpy, bizarre maximalist dinosaur movie. Hopefully we were really excited about the contrast of those kind of the quiet, intimate characters with the kind of bombastic B-movie nature of the premise.
Mm-hmm. Scott, why do you think we have, as people, have such an interest still in dinosaurs? Like, I love them. They're always at the forefront of museums. It's just something that's very, very intriguing about humanity as a whole. What is that thing with us and dinosaurs?
That's a great point. I mean, I think if I have to guess, the fascination is that these creatures actually existed, and yet they seem like they came out of somebody's imagination. And also the discovery of dinosaurs in terms of like fossil records, even though there's traces of being dug up, thousands of years ago, like it really has only concentrated in the last couple hundred years in terms of discovering all these different species. And there's that mystery that's so real and tangible in our civilization that I think craves more mystery to kind of be thrust upon us, that we're able to discover these giant beasts that actually roam the earth. It almost seems supernatural the more that you think about it. And yet, there it is. It's totally in the science books, and it's hanging in, our museums and such. So it's really incredible.
For sure. Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Have a great premiere. I really enjoyed watching it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.